Hello, I'm Tracy Pierce. Thanks for joining me for this Live with the Animals video series. So this series was really born out of what was happening in the United States in March 2020 when the coronavirus pandemic created lockdown situations throughout the country, throughout the world. And the animals really encouraged me to start making this video series. I really wondered what their perspective was on this whole situation. And as time has gone on, we're here at the very end of July, almost August 2020. This video series has really evolved to be so much more than just supporting those of us in lockdown. There have been tons of animals who have come forward who want to share their wisdom, and they've encouraged me to continue making these videos, interacting with people live, asking questions of the animals, just to spread their wisdom and let people know what they're thinking about. So today our guest interviewee is a duck. Let me get her picture up for you. So this little duck, this picture is a couple of months old at least. Well, at least a month, let's say that. And there was this couple of ducks that in the neighborhood where I used to live, there was a creek, and these ducks could be seen kind of wandering the neighborhood at different times. And this one duck got separated from its partner and was just kind of hanging out in the street this one particular day, and indicated to me that it had some wisdom to share with us. So we're going to tune into her and see what she might like to say. I do believe she did get reunited with her mate. They were doing some construction near the creek area, and I think that's maybe how they got separated. But let's tune in and find out for sure what she really has to tell us. So if you're joining me live, if you're on Zoom, on the bottom of your screen there should be a button that says chat. If you have a question you would like to ask this duck, feel free to click on that and type in your question. If you're joining me live on Facebook, just click on the comments, type in your questions there, and I'll be checking those periodically to see if we have any questions for our little duck friend. So I'm just going to get quiet now and start tuning into this duck and see what she would like to share with us today. So what she shows me right away is this level of agitation. She's showing me kind of, flapping her wings a bit and moving around in that kind of quack, quack, more kind of biting kind of sound that they make coming forward. That's what she's showing me. Okay, so she's showing me that is in relation to the particular construction project that was going on when I took this picture. Is there anything else that you want to share with us about that, or tell us about that incident with the construction? Yeah, she's saying it created some chaos because, so the way it was in the neighborhood was there was a sidewalk that went between two fenced yards, and that sidewalk went down to the creek, and the side that she's on is the neighborhood side. And so she's showing herself on this side of the construction, and then her mate was on the other side down by the creek. And yeah, just showing how the construction people, they weren't really paying attention to them. And there was like this, just she's showing kind of like a scuttle where she went this direction, her mate went the other direction. Have you guys since been reunited? Yes, we're back down by the creek now, and yes. So the construction over there is finished, is that correct? Yes. But she is showing, so then on the creek side, there is this building project that is starting on the other side of the neighborhood. Is there something you want to tell us about that, or? Well, she's showing it's like pressure, how human expansion puts pressure on them, on wildlife. She's feeling that in the area. So the area where they're going to be doing this construction is like a field of prairie dogs. And yeah, so there's tons of prairie dogs and other animals that kind of live in the area. And she says, we're just really feeling the pressure. She's showing herself kind of moving. Her and her mate are starting to move a little bit further up the creek than they normally have. They are feeling the pressure of the construction to move into a more an area where there's less human interference. Or so I hear the sound of like a jackhammer or construction kind of machinery, and she's saying the noise is really disrupting to her. She feels like noise affects wildlife in different ways than it affects humans. Like humans are somehow more used to it. They think it's normal for there to be constant noise going on. Is there something that you want us to know about that? Like, feels like there's a little bit more to what you're saying there. Could you expand? So again, you know, our wasp that we talked to yesterday was showing something kind of similar, I think. So this duck is showing me how I'm sitting here in my little office area, but the refrigerator is, you know, it's a little further back, but I can still hear it. And she's saying, like, feel how that vibration from the refrigerator is hitting your energy right now. And she's also pointing to like this computer in front of me, like there's energy and there's sound. Like if I'm quiet, like, oh, I can hear the fan running on my computer. And she's saying that as humans, we've just become so conditioned to all this noise in our environment that we've become kind of accustomed or acclimated to it, but it is actually kind of affecting our energy. Take a moment and just check for questions anyone might have for this duck. Okay. So is there more to this noise factor? Saying yes, to go on with what I'm saying, is that construction is actually one of the most, like construction and manufacturing, like it's kind of pointing to factories that are outside making lots of noise and lots of different machine kind of like air regulation machines she's showing too. But the construction, there's a particular kind of sharpness with, she's showing like the hitting, when things are coming into contact with it. She's showing like a hammer, but it could be other things like coming in contact with each other, that a hitting kind of thing that creates the noise. Yeah, she's saying, you know, humans have become accustomed to this, but animals, since we're living outside in more of a natural kind of environment, like we're not acclimated to it. So that's part of the pressure is not, it's the noise. There's also a size pressure, but the noise is really impactful as well, she says. Okay. Is there something else you want to tell us about the construction situation or your living situation? Something else you want us to know, or? Okay, I'm feeling a no on that. Okay. So what else would you like to tell us about? It seems like when I saw you, you wanted to tell me some other things. So it's kind of reminding me personally that this particular kind of duck, which I'm not even sure what species or particular breed they are, they're very, very common in the United States. It's reminding me of my history with these particular kind of ducks it's showing me, there was this one particular house that I lived in back in Iowa, where there was a creek. Again, there was a creek like just on the other side of the neighbor's house, and there was a couple of ducks that would, they'd hang out around the creek, but then they would kind of wander, and I lived close enough that they would come hang out in my yard quite a bit. Do you feel like they were trying to give me a specific message, or is there some message you want to bring? So this duck is highlighting the particular affinity of this breed, of how they couple. They tend to mate for life, and showing their for people who are looking for love in their life, who are really wanting to bring in an ideal partner, species like hers can be a good one for them to tune into and look at how the partners, the mates, kind of work together. She says, don't believe it's all just beautiful and happy. Like, she shows me these incidents of her kind of like pecking a little bit at her mate, and him doing the same thing. It's like there will be fighting at times, but we always work it out. She's showing there's this really deep, like, heart connection between her and her mate. And she says that's really, really common in her particular species. There's a particular way that people or animals who tend to only have one mate for life, like the way their hearts sync up, she's saying, is there's a really special quality there. Can you show me more? It feels like there's something really juicy there. Can you tell me more? She's showing it as this very deep state of surrender that happens in the heart. It's really like a surrendering over to the mate. And she's showing me she's showing me lions, and kind of like a comparison of how, with lions, like they're kind of sexy, but they don't mate for life. Like they may have different partners, or one male might have multiple kind of females. And she's saying if you tune into the way they relate to each other, it's a very different kind of heart space that they have for each other. She's saying it's not that they don't care for each other, they do. It's just that it's a different kind of meeting, a way of meeting each other with hearts, in a situation where someone is looking for a mate for life. Okay. Wow, that's really, really interesting. Is there more there? So the duck says, I don't want to say that one kind of love or one kind of connection is more right than another. Fine. If these lions want to have their multiple pride female partners, she says that's fine. And she's showing how humans are really different from animals in that way, where humans tend to have more conscious choice about whether they have one partner, or whether they're maybe in a polyamorous kind of situation, having multiple partners, like in a lion pride, perhaps. And she says there's no judgment whether one is right or wrong, but she's saying depending on what you're looking for in your life, like what kind of relationship that you want, it's really different to tune into the heart of a duck and say, I'm looking for a mate for life, versus tuning into the heart of a lion and, saying, yes, I want multiple partners. And she's showing how, depending on what you're looking for, you can find an animal in the animal kingdom that kind of emulates the same kind of behavior. And if you tune into their heart, she's saying there's a way, there can be like a more pure the word I hear is pure kind of connection with your partner or partners. That's interesting. I hadn't thought about it like that before. Take me a moment to check for questions. All right, little duck friend, I wonder if there's anything else, any other duck wisdom you would like to share with us today. Oh, we got a question popping up here. Is that mutual and reciprocal between the ducks, or are the genders different? I'm not sure what you mean by your question, Kim. Could you clarify a little bit more? So with the, I'm waiting for you to type in more about your question, but when I asked the duck this question, what she's showing me is that they're paired male female, and she's like, sometimes there are squabbles, especially between the females, she says, when eggs are being laid and things like that. But there's no, like, it's not like I'm against females, is what she's saying. Okay, so we got a clarification here. Is there a difference between the male and the female, the way they relate to the heart reciprocity? Okay, gotcha. So what she shows me is it's actually very similar between the male and the females. So she's showing that in the animal kingdom that it's much different than humans. She's really showing how different humans are from the animal kingdom, in that she says in her species there definitely are gender roles, and they do their separate gender roles because that's the survival of their species. But as far as this place in the heart that they're tuning into, that relates to their bond as a couple, it feels very similar in the male and female hearts, and that's what allows it to actually kind of resonate together, is what she says. Let me know if that doesn't answer your question, Kim. Okay, great. So is there anything else, little duck friend, that you might like to share with us, or duck wisdom you want the world to know? Okay, we got another question popping up for you. I wasn't really feeling like anything really coming forward immediately when I asked that question, but viewer is saying that she keeps thinking of the expression like water off a duck's back. Do you have anything to say about that expression? Oh, she's kind of like, that's interesting. It's sort of like, oh, I get it. Like, I hadn't heard that expression exactly before, but I see why it's a thing. Because she's showing me like a drop of water rolling down her back. And if only things were so easy to let go of, she said. It is quite smooth, and yeah, there is some desire for us to be able to let go of emotional blockages or emotional clutter, let's call it, more quickly like that. She's like, I really like that expression. It makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah, it does. All right, little duck friend, is there anything else that you would like to share with us before we close our space today? Oh, she's saying thank you for, taking her picture and catching that she wanted to participate. She says she misses seeing me around the neighborhood. I've since moved. Yes. I miss all my little animal friends from back that neighborhood too. All right, thank you, little duck friend. Oh wow, we just had one other question pop up here, actually. Let's see if our duck wants to answer it really quick. So Duck, what's your opinion on this? Do animals think all humans are bad, or do they hate us? How do they see us in humanity? Well, we don't see you as necessarily bad. We often see you as something we need to stay a little bit further away from. There is some um, understanding in a way that humans don't think the same way that animals, the majority of animals do. And yeah, it's not that we think you're bad. We sure wish that you would understand things a little bit differently. There is kind of a tunnel vision, we feel like, that happens with humans where they only see along this one track. And you're saying hopefully with people like Tracy or other people who are working with animals, environmental issues, that this awareness really can spread. It feels like humans learn things slowly is what this animal, is what the duck is saying. It's like once humans kind of separated themselves from the natural order a bit with their technology, that's part of how this tunnel vision came forward, is what the duck is saying. Yes, we don't hate you. We just generally don't want to be around you. At least the wild animals, like, it feels better for us to stay further away. It feels like we are more in danger when humans are close, or we're close to construction sites, or human forward momentum. So it's not that we think you're bad or evil, but we do feel safer being further away. So how do you, yeah, anything else you want to say about that? We have, this duck is saying, overall, we do have hope for humanity, but there is a shying away kind of feeling. Hmm. Right. Thank you so much, little duck friend. Okay, so thank you so much for everybody who participated today. And if you're watching this later, thanks for watching. These videos have been really fun for me to put together and talk to these animals and just see what kind of wisdom they want to share with us. So I hope you'll join us again sometime. And until next time, take care and be well.